Today's episode, we're joined by Abbie Shearer-Smith, a capital and transactions analyst, and Emma Anderson, a property analyst from Centuria. Thank you guys for joining me today.
Thank you for having us.
Wonderful. So I thought if we could just start off a quick overview and background of what you guys did at uni and how you came in to be in your roles today.
Yes, and would you like to go to
You can start off.
Okay. So I'm actually from Brisbane. I moved to Sydney when I graduated high school in 2021. And I went straight into property economics at UTS. Did that for 3 years. Enjoyed every bit of it. And I kind of always knew that I wanted to be in property. And so that kind of solidified it for me. And then in my final year, I decided that I needed to kind of get into the industry, have a final year internship to kind of adjust into things. And so obviously I picked Centuria, applied for it and managed to get the role as intern there and haven't really looked back really. So yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
And Emma?
Yeah. I'm similar to Abbie, so we studied the same degree in property economics, and I've just went to school in Sydney and then went to UTS. And yeah, our courses were kind of around like valuation, development, further planning, bit of law, ethics and economics. So that kind of sums up our degree, I would say.
Did you guys have a favorite paper from while at UTS?
Oh gosh. I don't know. I think we did a lot of assignments that had to do with the market, and I remember one specific assignment where we had to kind of research all the shopping centres in Australia.
Very cool.
And kind of, talk about the top 5 larger shopping centres and kind of everything that has to do with that and why they're so successful. So I think that stood out for me as a full paper. Yeah, it was really cool.
Yeah. I probably liked our capstone, but at the end it was pretty stressful, but it was good because it kind of summed up our whole uni degree, what we were learning. And then you kind of just had a group that you worked with throughout the semester, which was nice. And it was just a nice kind of project to, sum up our learnings.
What was the project, or was it kind of like a case, or was it?
Yeah, so we had to choose a site, like an acquisition, and kind of make a development proposal. So we're kind of looking at the planning, then you had to do like a cash flow feasibility, which was interesting. Kind of, read laws and regulations around what you can do. So it just summed up all the courses we did quite nicely.
That's wonderful. And so you guys sort of started at Centuria in the intern roles.
Yes.
What was that like?
I think Centuria does it really well. It's kind of a rotation process. So you go through about 7 rotations, I want to say, around about that. And with the main kind of sectors, you get to do, say, a month in. So we did like a month in valuations, and then you went into cap trends, development for a month and stuff like that. So it was really cool because you kind of got to go through all different aspects of the company and understand what you liked the best.
That's fantastic exposure.
It was like
the whole company too.
Yeah, especially because I feel like you graduate uni and for me, I knew that I wanted to do property, but I wasn't quite sure exactly what I wanted to do. And so it was the perfect internship for me because I got to kind of understand every aspect of property because Centuria does it all.
Yeah.
So it was super cool.
I think it was good how they kind of structured it based off the business life cycle. So you kind of started from the start of the property cycle and then finished at the end with like the funds and a distribution scheme. So it kind of gave a nice timeline into what the property career looks like and kind of different cycles that property goes through. And then, I think it was great having the amount of rotations that we did because it gave us exposure to everyone in the business. So now we feel comfortable pretty much going up to anyone and be like, hey, like I did this for my property, or I heard you're doing this fund. Like you just have that exposure and that connection through working with everyone, which is great.
So you get like really put through the whole network of Centuria.
Especially as new employees, you kind of get to meet everyone as well. And so everyone gets more comfortable with you, especially because I feel like we're actually in a perfect position because some people come into the role as, when they're way later in life and they get put straight into a role in whatever kind of aspect of property they are in and don't really get exposed to all the other aspects of our company, really, I guess. So any company. So we kind of got exposure to all your different employees and colleagues that we were going to be working with.
Yeah, that's actually such a good point because, you've had exposure to everything. Lots of people, initially are only in the single team.
They say that.
You guys seem to do a lot of like team building exercises throughout the whole company. So
it gives like a good appreciation as well to what others do, because you kind of get a snippet into their job. Whereas like if I just started in my current role vals, it'd be harder to know like how my job affects other teams. But having that rotation and like knowing their goals as well, helping them out really helped just kind of give me a wider purpose.
That's such a good point.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
And what drew you guys to property? Like when you started at uni, what was the thing that said, okay, property economics, this is it for me?
They're difficult. It sounds cliche, but for me, I think I always kind of knew that I wanted to do property from a very, very young age. So I don't think there was any like kind of click that was like, yes, this is what I want to do.
It just sounds very natural.
Yeah, I think it was just a natural thing for me.
Awesome.
I really love how I feel like it's always evolving and changing and it's growing with us. And especially with AI coming in, I think, property is always going to be around. It's not like we're going to lose it to AI because it's just going to be continuously evolving. Yeah. So, I think that was the thing that kind of drew me to it.
Yeah, same. I really like that tangible kind of seeing what you're working with. And probably in year 10, we had to do work experience. And I had no clue what I wanted to do, but I knew I kind of liked my electives, commerce, business. And so I was lucky enough to get some work experience at Lendlease.
Oh,
and then, that was just for a week, but I really, really enjoyed it. Like, they took good care of me and they like showed me throughout different teams, and I just love seeing the properties of what they did. So I kind of asked them a bit more about the degrees they did. And they also land economics, which is now property economics or property economics, and then looked up that course and I found it really interesting. I was like, how it applied to tangible properties rather than commerce, which I found for me was a bit more broad and a bit more broad over to you.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's such a cool work experience for year 10.
Yeah, I know. That's insane. So lucky, yeah.
Was there a stand-up moment from that week that you spent with Lendlease?
Probably one of their buildings. It was like, I think it was one of the first like timber buildings that has ever been built in Sydney, down in Barangaroo.
Oh.
And then they had like this solar panel farm on top of their roof where they had bees, and then like a few years later I saw it featured on ABC and I was like, oh my god, I saw that. They're not set.
Now, for people who are looking to kind of go into similar roles as you guys, what does a typical day in your life look like?
Well, mine, it's a bit different. Every single day is different for me because I'm across 2 different teams and all asset classes. So I'm dipping my toes into kind of everything. It's a bit different every single day. Sometimes it usually involves running models for there's always something going on in the market. So running models on, any property that's coming up, and a lot of interviews. There's always kind of some sort of deal going on in our company. So whether it's an acquisition or a disposal. So I get to be involved in some really cool meetings and help them with some really cool tasks as well in order for them to kind of run the process a lot smoother. I'd say modelling, meetings. That's about it.
I'm in vals, so I focus mainly on the healthcare vals. So we do our vals every quarter. So my main focus is just prepping to have those val packs ready, kind of getting up to date with our properties, like what leases are coming up for expiries, have we done any new lease deals that we need to include in our vals, and then just chatting to valuers generally around sales that they're seeing, how we're kind of going to price our cap rates, and do we need to something it, can we tighten it, like how the market's performing, and just assisting with portfolio stats. So we track our stats on every property and help the asset managers. If they have a lease deal and they're like, oh, we've got pathology rate coming up, what's market? And then we go, okay, well, we've got this and this in our property, and valuers have given us these comps, so we think your market rate should be around this. And then, that's kind of the main day-to-day juice. Would also run sometimes lease scenarios. So asset management might come to us and say, we've got a tenant interested in this space at this rent. How's that going to impact our val? So we'll just give them an analysis on that and be like, this is a positive uplift, or actually, can you push them a bit more? We can't afford to give them that incentive or that rate.
Was that something that was kind of new to you when going into that role?
Sure, definitely helping talk to valuers. Like, I have never done that before. And then, it's just keeping on top of the market and really knowing how our product sits against others. So it's like, is our building superior or inferior? What's the quality of our tenants? And then, just really keeping on top of the market and having that opinion to form a view and argue your point based off like your stats on your property.
Were there any other challenges, I guess, that you guys, or not maybe challenges, but learning opportunities that you experienced when you started in your roles that you hadn't gone from university or you had to develop?
Yeah. I think I kind of came straight from uni into this role. I didn't really have any other work experience apart from kind of becoming an intern at Centuria. And so I think I didn't know a lot. I really didn't know anything. And so I think I had to kind of learn as quick as I could. I don't think there wasn't any necessary specific challenges, but I think I had to kind of throw myself into the deep end and take hours and hours to learn how to do a model, because there's so many intricate parts that involve the entire Excel spreadsheet. It's insane. And so kind of learning how to do that properly, and you don't want to, I have such a great support network around me, so I can ask as many questions as I want, but you want to sit there and kind of, I think the way that I learn the best is by throwing myself at it and trying to sit there and learn as best I can. And yeah, I'd say that. Yeah.
It's a great attitude to have, though, just being, throw yourself
there.
Yeah, obviously you've got the support network around you, so it makes it a little bit easier having those points of call.
Yeah, 1,000%.
But yeah, it still takes a lot to throw yourself in and try something new.
Yeah. And we have so many of our, company leaders, they really push you as well, which is so good. And so they'll help you as much as they can, but they also want to be like, Abbie, I want you to do this and this and this and see how you go with it. And if you don't get it, that's so fine. But I want to see you have a go. And I'll be like, yep, I got this. And I'll be able to kind of, then that drives me to try and be successful in whatever job they've given me.
That's
so yeah,
awesome.
yeah.
Yeah, I think similar to Abbie, just kind of learning the different, I guess, tools or platforms that they use. So, for example, Centuria adopts like Forbury and iMod, and we didn't have any of that exposure to at uni to use these platforms. And so just kind of learning the systems that they use and how they like their value structure was very new to me. Like, that was quite a hard challenge. But yeah, same as Abbie, just kind of throwing yourself in, learning, and then getting support from the other analysts and people in our teams just to really help solidify and give us confidence that we're on the right track.
Yeah.
And that.
It seems like curiosity has been something that, has led you guys to a lot of success. Are there any other traits that you would sort of attribute to your success in getting into these roles?
Yeah, I would say attitude, mostly. I think, I kind of came in and I think I said in my interview, hey, I don't really know that much. I don't really know much at all. But I have a really, I'm keen to learn as much as I can, and I have a good attitude. And I think if you genuinely want to be there and you want to learn as much, they know that. They can see that. And so I think that what has helped me is my attitude towards the learning and really just the drive to kind of be successful, because that's kind of what I've always wanted to be successful, especially in the property industry. So I'd say my drive and my attitude.
Yeah, I agree. It's definitely having an open attitude. Like, given the amount of rotations we had, obviously you're going to have some that you favour more and others that you don't, but being open and willing to learn and understand people's roles and just like really put yourself out there to understand and help support them as best as you can, even as an intern. Like, might not think you're that important, but don't diss any task they ask you. Like, just take on any task they do and try and complete it to your best ability. And yeah, just show a keen interest in what people do. So really trying to understand what people's roles are and what they're explaining to you or what meaning you bring to. If you have any questions, just write them down and make sure you understand, because any exposure is really, really valuable as an intern, especially when you have to kind of break down the value sense too. For sure, because there definitely was terminology which haven't heard before. They have different kind of property jargon or, especially through different sectors, they kind of change what their goals and work is. So just understanding that, writing it down, getting clarification really helps.
I would say, I know Emma did this as well during the internship when we kind of first started. We'd go into meetings and they'd be throwing around all these words and we'd be writing them down or asking, writing down all these questions. And then I would go to my buddy, because we kind of always had a buddy in each rotation, which was really helpful. And I'd always go after the interview and sit down with them and like, can you please tell me, I had this question. What does this terminology mean? What is this? What is this? And I think that really helped as well.
That's amazing. That's also great being given a buddy that's like...
Oh, yeah. It was really, really helpful because they can kind of sit there, and they also, depending on the rotation, really try to always sit next to you. And so you can kind of have that easy access to any questions that you have, and they can kind of sit there with you and run through models and kind of teach you slowly.
I think another key to our success is just being quite personable. Like at Centuria, they really value the culture and how you fit into the team. So like being able to have a joke, but also get your work done was really important to them. Like you're not just a robot that's textbook smart. You're well-rounded. Like you're able to talk to external agents and give a good face to Centuria, or you're able to do a good presentation. I think they really value that, and kind of fitting into that team culture and just kind of everyone supporting each other to have like one common goal of build each other up was pretty important.
Yeah, that's awesome. Is there another element of, I guess, the culture at Centuria that you guys really appreciate or have enjoyed getting to be a part of?
Yeah, I would say collaboration. Specifically, I guess in my role, I think as in the transactions team, we kind of rely on all the other teams as well to help us. But I think the whole company really does a great job at collaborating. And we all kind of obviously you can't all sit together because it's a whole level, but majority of the company, we all sit in, we call it the pit. And it's really great because you sit next to someone different every single day, and you are able to collaborate, and all the teams kind of work with each other. Because it's a small, medium-sized company. It's not, we kind of work off a level and a half. And so everyone has the ability to work with each other and ask questions in a room full of people,
Yeah. I think like to that point, because it is quite like a dynamic company that works with each other, I feel like everyone can talk from all different levels. So we feel comfortable talking to people higher up. Like I can feel comfortable talking to like head of transactions or head of distributions, and just being able to feel comfortable talking to everyone, I think is a really good culture of Centuria, how like teams can collaborate. It's not just like kind of this is your role, you're pigeoned in this, and you like might see familiar face. Like you actually are able to talk to like basically anyone in the office and feel comfortable.
Yeah. We also have our CEOs sitting with us. Yeah. You could sit next to them.
It's amazing.
Yeah, it's great.
Was that intimidating the first time?
Yeah. Sure, no, this is it. But it's super cool, and it just kind of shows it.
It sounds like they've got created a really good culture there, and
great culture.
Especially when you're like juniors in the team. That's amazing, being able to learn from people who are really, really senior.
Yeah, sure.
And there's not that sort of like, I have to go through the right channels to go and speak to them.
Yeah,
try it. They're just around and they're available, and that's like such a good resource.
It's also great because you can just hear them talking to other team members as well, and you just pick up on their interactions or what they're hearing, because they generally value you being in the office and getting that kind of face-to-face interaction, which is great. So everyone's in the office, everyone's working, and you just pick up bits and pieces throughout your day, which is great.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That was, do you think that like getting that face-to-face early on in your internships, that was a great way for you guys to kind of learn how the culture works? So you're hearing how people are talking to each other and how you just sort of get really quickly brought into the way of life at Centuria.
Yeah, 1,000%. I think I was quite nervous coming into the role because I was so scared. I didn't know what they expected of me. And so I think being immediately brought into the pit, where everyone is yelling over, like talking to each other and asking questions, and it was a great way to kind of make you feel more comfortable. And everyone is so approachable, and so it kind of makes it a lot easier to ease into it. And
It's great. You guys have spoken so highly of all the different Centurions got throughout your time there. Is there any that stick out to you as like team members you've been able to rely on or go to for advice in any way?
Yeah, I would say my boss, Nathan Guo, he is head of transactions. He's fantastic. He's a very, very smart man. And so he's kind of been really helpful in that. And then I also have Andrew Essie, who works a lot higher than I am, and yeah, he's been also great. And even though he's so senior in the company, he still never he never wastes a second letting me ask questions and answering them, and he'll sit down with me if I have a question. And then I'd also say Eva Tobin, who is my other boss, I'd say, and she is head of institutional development. And she is the hardest worker. She's great. So yeah, I'd say those three are people who I really look up to, and they hold the values that I look for, and I hope to kind of show in the future.
So yeah, I'd say to me, the first person that had a great path for me was my buddy Mitch Rayleigh. So he was in asset management, which was my first rotation, and he's just like the most funny, genuine guy that you can meet, but super smart and switched on. He just made me feel really welcome, because normally I'm more of an introvert. When I walked in, like, I was pretty nervous, but he helped introduce me to everyone in the company, which was really good. And then just like take me to meetings to meet other people, which was great to expose my network and like bring up my network. And yeah, just made me feel really welcome. Didn't make me feel like any question was silly to ask. That really helped me just kind of warm up to Centuria and like be able to like feel comfortable and express myself and communicate questions that I have.
That's always like the best thing with the buddy is when they like introduce you to other people like Unirap. That's so valuable. It sounds like a fantastic buddy, and those are obviously incredible. You spoke a little bit about some of the values you identified in some of those leaders.
Yeah.
Are there any that stick out to you that you want to emulate as you move up your career and sort of take on some leadership roles in the future?
Yeah, I would say they all have big personalities. They, I think they're all very confident people, and they know how to talk to people, and they're so personable, but they're also so hardworking. I think that they've gotten to where they are today, and they're so kind of senior in their company because of how hardworking they were when they were our age, even now, obviously.
Great role model to sort of say like, okay, this is the standard to work to, and then like keep that going.
Yeah, they're extremely determined people, and when they want something done, they'll get it done.
I think one of their values is we do what it takes. So just having that kind of attitude and like drive to want to do well and succeed. Like for me personally, when I like something and I really enjoy it, I'll do everything I can to kind of throw myself in there. And I think that should hopefully help my natural progression. And it seems like everyone in those higher roles, does what it takes. Yeah, as Abbie was saying, works really hard, puts in the hours, So,
I think it's also really important, and I can kind of see this in a lot of people in the company, and I guess any company, is they really care for the company and they care how well we go. And so you can really tell, I can tell in meetings when I'm sitting there with them, and you can tell their passion for it, which I think drives them as well, because obviously they want to help Centuria, any company, drive to be so successful and continue growing. So I think that passion as well is kind of what sparks.
So awesome. You guys clearly embody it, just coming in and the passion you guys have spoken about Centuria today. It clearly flows throughout the company. So
but every whole.
When applying for your roles at Centuria, was there any traits or maybe experiences you guys had that helped you stand out during the recruitment process? I feel like that's something that when people are applying for grad roles, that's like the most scary part.
I would say you don't have to be the smartest person in the room. I definitely wasn't. I think I'm not going to, talk down on myself, but, I was a uni student, third year. I didn't really know. I knew about the property. I had a passion for property, but I didn't know stuff about the market, and I didn't know so much. But I think my attitude was probably, as I said before, I think definitely the attitude that I kind of came with and the willingness to learn. And I have a real drive for success. So I'd say those three were the things that made me maybe stand out. And I think also they always, at Centuria at least, what Emma was talking about before, it's all about culture. And I think we're both quite personable people. And I could talk to a brick wall if I needed to. So, I'd say that helped me.
And yourself, Emma?
For me, it was slightly different. I came in with a bit more work experience, I would say. So I think,
Yeah.
just try and my first previous job I used at Wentworth, which was an amazing training ground. It was like people that like ex-REITs that had come together and formed a great company, and they kind of do really cool, interesting deals that maybe the bigger players don't look at. I think that was a really great exposure for me to then help hop into like a bigger firm, Centuria. And so, yeah, I think just of my advice, especially in property, is just like take any job you can get and get your foot in the door. And I think having that work experience and that interest in property and a bit more knowledge on the market then helped me leap to the next role as an intern at Centuria. So, yeah, I think, just having as much work experience as you can and knowledge and that interaction in property really helps you to be a valuable candidate.
It's also, yeah. And your experience at Wentworth was obviously like super positive.
Yes.
I got to learn so much.
Yes.
Was there anything in those, like, in that early role that was, something super new that you hadn't tried before and has proven to be super valuable?
For sure. So that was like my first corporate job. So just learning like day to day how people interact and like how like the hours work and like how you attend a meeting and what you need to do to prep was really great for that. I think at Wentworth I really learned just like kind of establishing myself as an employee and like having a voice for myself and being able to communicate my own thoughts and opinions was really great. Like towards the start, they were giving me obviously the easier tasks, and then as you kind of earn your way up and like show that you're willing to put in what they want you to do and you're really interested, they kind of then started trusting me with a few more responsibilities. So at the end, I was like doing some of the leasing they had these buildings in the rocks, which was really cool. It's like on a leasehold, and just like giving me the reins to kind of talk to the property manager about leasing, and so being able to help with that sales strategy was really fun. So yeah, just kind of building your way up was really great.
That's awesome. You got like a lot of different exposure throughout different roles.
For sure. And then I guess as I became more confident, they then gave me more responsibility, which is great. And just, proving yourself that you do any task and deliver it to a high standard.
Looking to the future, 5 years down the road, what do you guys want to kind of achieve? What are some milestones you want to hit?
I want to stay in my role because I want to kind of work as hard as I can to gain all the knowledge I possibly can in these next 2 or 3 years. Being in the transactions team, obviously I would love to do my own deal. Acquisition would be awesome.
What do you think if you could do an acquisition tomorrow? What would you want to acquire?
Oh gosh, I don't know. I think there's a lot of industrial being thrown around in the market, I think, especially in Sydney. So I'd love to do an industrial acquisition. Hopefully have a couple properties collated together.
Yeah, very cool.
Yeah.
Yourself. I think for me, just kind of building upon my network would be great, and kind of getting my name out there with other people being like, oh yeah, Emma Centuria, she does the healthcare vows, you should talk to her. Yeah, I think that would be great. Yeah, being able to like run vows on my own and have those conversations with valuers when it does get tricky. Like if your thoughts don't align on your cap rate, like say we need to try whole value, being able to have that like hard combo with the valuer and really push your point and get to a mutual agreement would be great. So yeah, I guess just having more responsibility would be a great career set for me.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, I think making a name for ourselves, both of us.
Yeah.
I think,
Just from listening to you guys today, I guarantee I'm like, there's no doubt that you guys will make a name for yourself in the industry. In like 5 years' time, it'll be like, some huge roles, and it'll be so exciting.
Yeah, I think we're slowly getting there, slowly making our way through some really cool events. We went to New South Wales Future Leaders in Property. PCA event, which was really cool recently, and that's we're slowly doing a little bit of those things to, build our connections.
Now, before you wrap up, I was just wondering if you could go back and talk to yourself at the start of uni, what's a piece of advice you wish you had then?
You want to go?
Probably to what I was saying earlier, just try and get as much exposure as you can from the start of your uni journey. So when you see those job ads coming through UTS, just put your name up there and try and apply for them, because I found having the role within property really helped my degree. Like the stuff we're learning at uni, like the terminology, then I was able to apply to property, and that really helped. And then vice versa, I was able to ask people in the industry that I worked with for uni assignment help, or like clarify any questions. So that really helped progress me as a person in my learnings, I would say.
Cancel. Yeah. I would say I've always been quite a perfectionist. And so I think I was really resistant to kind of come into the industry, especially still being a uni student. And my dad was pushing me to. He's like, you need to kind of get out there, especially in your final year. And I was really resistant to because I didn't think, I keep saying this, but I didn't think I knew too much. And I didn't want to go into a company where I was going to, sound silly. So I was really hesitant to. But I think obviously now I'd sit there and be like, just push yourself, just do it, just dive into the deep end because you will learn. And I feel like I have been able to kind of pick up a lot of things that I've learned quite quickly. And so don't be afraid, I would say to myself in my first year to kind of throw yourself in.
I think the other important thing is networking within your degree. Property is a pretty small industry, and everyone I've talked to said, I used to go to uni with this person or I've worked with them. So yeah, I'd say it's pretty well connected. So make sure you have those good relationships. Like if you're doing an assignment, make sure you're a team player and actually contribute. And just, get a good name out there, be friendly to everyone, respect everyone's opinions, and just be collaborative.
What's a networking tip that you would, pass on maybe?
I would say just be personable and just be kind of open to conversation with anyone. I feel like in our degree, especially, it was so small and there was not that many of us, especially kind of by the end of it. There was a good, I think quite a intimate group, I'd say. I think
almost every class.
Yeah, and you'd see them every single class. And slowly, I feel like by the end, I think I was too late to kind of make all my connections with everyone at uni, but slowly by the end, we all kind of started talking to each other a lot more. And I've already had a couple coffees with, some agencies like JLL, Barry, and they've been people who have been in our year, in our degree, which I've never spoken to before, but it's just funny because there's that connection. So I definitely say just try and talk to as many people as you can to see what their interests are, if they want to kind of get into agency or client side, and kind of what their goals are, because you never know, they might be your colleagues.
In 2 years' time, you'll
be working with them. Yeah, 1,000%. So I'd say that.
Don't go skipping too much.
There you go.
Good advice. Great advice to end on. Well, thank you guys so much for joining me. It's been lovely getting to catch up and have a chat. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having us.